welcome back. This is round 3. So now, what have we done so far? So let's look again. Here is the pancakes. The ones in the front are the ones that were cooked with everything exactly as they're supposed to be. You can see how they're kind of golden brown. Look at the ones behind it, and these are kind of pale in color. These are without any baking soda and any baking powder. So as you can see, it makes things brown. This, you could put a little bit of baking, soda into your burgers, and those will brown them a little bit more too. So that is it. So now, what are we doing in part 3? Same recipe again. This time we're gonna double these ingredients. We're gonna get twice as much of those. So they might, I'm guessing they're gonna probably have a chalky, burnt flavor. They're gonna get really brown really quick. And so I don't think they're gonna be that good. So right now my oven is preheated to 75, and as soon as I'm done with this, I'll throw them into the oven, get them all heated up, and then once I'm done with all 3 batches, I will come back and we'll do a taste test. And we'll try all 3 of them together with the same butter and syrup only. And then we'll see which one tastes the best. And we'll kind of give our critique at that point in time. So let's get started again. So, same as we did the last time and the last time before that. I'm going to do a cup of flour, okay? And I'm going to make sure I get a full even cup, just make sure it's all the same. And again, I'm going to use the back side of my knife, take off any excess. Okay. And then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of sugar. Sugar. We're going to do, instead of 1 teaspoon of baking powder, we're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Make sure you get the teaspoon. Here's the baking powder. I put too much of this in. 1, 2. Okay. And we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So let's do, we're going to do 1 full teaspoon of baking soda. This is the 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm going to do 1 and 2. And move that out of the way. Okay. Now we did a pinch of salt, so we're still going to just do a pinch of salt. Same amount we did before. We're not going to change much of that. And the sugar. Get the sugar out of the way, get flour out of the way. And we'll move the spoons. And again, we'll just mix it all together. And just make sure it's thoroughly mixed. Okay. Good enough. Okay, so now we're going to do what we did before. So we're going to take the buttermilk. Same measurements and all the other ingredients. This is still 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 egg, and we're going to get in here and it's kind of, again, just initially we're going to mix it with a spoon, just so the flour gets incorporated and just makes it easier, I found, just initially, and then I use the whisk afterwards. So I'll just mix it together. So what do you guys think is going to happen in this one? What is your guesses? What's it going to look like? What's it going to taste like? So this is science. Okay, so now let's go and use the whisk a little bit. And now we're going to take our butter. Put our butter in there. And mix that thoroughly. Again, you don't have to do this particular recipe. You can do other recipes. You can find your own online. If you do find another one separate from these or in a cookbook, just make sure you share with me either a picture, a web link, something to show me, the ingredients, the directions, and so forth. So just so I can know which one you decided to use. But this one's pretty easy. Now this one does require buttermilk, which is a little bit different. You may not have it at home. the other pancake recipe in the assignment. Just I think it has regular milk, so. Okay, so let's just kind of look at it. Now it should look pretty much the exact same, at least here. Shouldn't look any different than the other ones did. Because you really can't tell, just because I missed 2 small dry ingredients in this. So now, what we're gonna do, let's move this out of the way. Let's heat up this again. So you're kind of getting used to how to make pancakes. So it's pretty simple to make. Let's move this out of the way a little bit. So now we're going to do the same thing. Get it up to heat a little bit. And then we're going to put the water on it. Once it beads off of it, then you know it's hot enough. And you can always just kind of see. And this one's still hot from the previous, so it's still warm. It's just not hot, hot. You want to make sure you don't put it into a cold pan, whatever you do. So, and give it a second heat up here. So, I'm getting hungry, you know. Can't wait to try these and see how these taste, both of them. So, that will be video number 4. Okay, so let's check it out now. Let's just see. I'm gonna take a little bit of water. Not yet. Not hot enough yet. So that needs another second. Again, the water should bead off of it immediately. So you know it's like, as I showed you in the very first one, I put a tiny bit of oil just to coat the pan. But since we keep on making more and more pancakes, then the pan's kind of coated, and then we'll clean the grease off of it after we're done. So it looks like it's getting kind of warm. Now, if you don't have a flat top griddle like this, I'm sure you could use other pans in here. Just don't use like the ones that have the high ends and they kind of like a wok kind of thing. Try to do as much so you can have a flat surface on it, if you have anything like that. Or if you have a grill outside of what we call a flat top griddle or grill, then you could do that if you have such thing at your home. I know some people in my classes do have those at home. I know we have one at our RVS that we do over at the ESB offices. And we made pancakes one day. So, okay, so I think that's getting warm enough. So, that's good. So now, let's get the batter off of this. Okay. And let's do the same thing. So let's throw the pancakes on, 1/4 cup at a time. And let's see what they look like. And I'm really curious what these are going to taste like. And what they're going to look like. Keep in mind, I've never done this before. This is why I was kind of excited to show this to you guys. You can kind of see firsthand. Now, I will say one thing that's interesting. They seem kind of like fluffier for some reason. I don't know why that is, but again, we're going to let them cook. And just a couple minutes per the first side. And what we'll do is we'll take the spatula again. We'll kind of just lift an edge off of it. Backside of the spatula, lift a little backside off of it, and we'll kind of look at the pancake and see if it's starting to get brown. Now, my guess is he's going to brown much quicker and much more so. But let's just see what we got here. So, just kind of just tease it a little bit and see what we got. Okay, they're already browning. So again, this is after about 1.5 minutes. So, I'm just going to keep on letting them cook the same amount of time. So I think it was about 3.5 minutes. And honestly, the perfect test would have been to time it. So I probably should have done that in this at the timer, and then I could do exactly the same. So I could say, okay, let's do 3 minutes, see what they look like, 3.5, look at it, and then after the first one, time it again. So maybe a suggestion to do this that I did not do. So, but anyways, we're just kind of guessing our best, but let's see what we got. Okay, so these look pretty close, so we're almost there. Give it another minute just to let them get toasty on the bottom. Man, I'm really curious. I'm really curious what this is going to be like. So, I don't know if you guys are as well. So, I hope some of you guys decide to do the extra credit and do this part so you can see firsthand for yourself. And then we can kind of compare in class. What do mine look like? What do yours look like? And so forth. So let's do this. Okay, so these look pretty brown. Okay, so they look brown like the other ones did. Okay, they look definitely better than the second round. So this just to let you see. This is what it looks like so far. So it looks like it's browning pretty well. Definitely better than the second ones, which had almost like pale and white. So now what we're going to do is we're going to let it sit here again. I usually will tap them on the top just to kind of get the air out of them a little bit. Not too much, but just a technique that I remember when I was first learning to cook is when I'm making pancakes. I would take, like an edge of the spatula and I would cut it into it to deflate it. But then I realized by doing so that it takes the air out of it. So I'll just kind of make sure it's just a little bit padded. Which is why some of those pancakes I made in my early days probably weren't the best pancakes. So anyway, so we're gonna see what this is starting to look like. So some of these kind of got together here. So let's just kind of separate those and start looking at the underside a little bit. Okay, so they look similar to the first batch. I have to be honest, they look very close to that first batch. In fact, I would say the first batch even looks like it might be a little bit more browned. But I will show you visually what they look like, and you decide what you think. And then after this is done, we're gonna have a taste test, which is also something I wanted you guys to do. Have your family, friends, grandparents, mother, sister, brother, aunts, uncles, whoever. And you guys all judge, and you can say, okay, maybe somebody likes them better, and that would be the interesting thing to see what everybody thinks instead of just us. That'd be the pancakes. Let's see, how are they looking? Okay, so these do look similar to the other ones. We'll say, maybe a little bit more brown. I don't know what you guys think, but again, I'll show you here. So that's what they look like. So we're gonna cook them just a tad longer. And then what I'm gonna do is I will then take those, put them on the sheet pan with some parchment paper. I'll cook the rest of these, and then I'm gonna take pictures of these, and we're gonna kind of look at them all together and see which ones we think are which ones. Okay, guys, so that's me signing out for the moment. So I'll be back soon. Talk to you in a bit.